this whole idea of StrongerU Fitness was let's do things the right way and let's do what we want instead of what we've been told that we should do.
Everybody can kind of just look at something and go do it, but we like to talk about why we do it, how we do it, the science behind it.
We don't like people to not know why they're doing stuff because then they end up needing us. It's cool that they need us, but at the other end of the spectrum is we want them to actually do this for life, and that's not going to include us the whole time.
They've been told these things over and over again. The one thing that I really dislike is this idea of no pain, no gain.
I think a lot of people forget about the longevity part of this thing. They're just like, well, I just go to the gym, I lift heavy, and I do that a lot, and I'm golden. But you break down, you're done.
People think that they have to just bust their ass in the gym, and it's just not true.
If every single workout kicks the crap out of you, that's not the best thing to do. Some workouts should be a little easier than others.
There's no such thing as overtraining. There's just under recovery.
Welcome to StrongerU Radio with Mike Dola. Join Mike and friends as they discuss issues to keep you healthy, fit, and on track to create a stronger you. Let's listen in now.
What's up, StrongerU family? We are back with the StrongerU Radio podcast. Today, I have two awesome guests. I'm so excited that we finally did something many of you were asking for. We started StrongerU Fitness, a training program, and we have two of what I think are some of the best trainers in the business that I was extremely lucky to meet at this past year's fitness summit. Their names are Anthony Harter and Dean Guido, and I just want to talk a little bit about StrongerU Fitness and training in general with these guys. I'm going to give it over to them and let them introduce themselves. So, Anthony, can you say what's up and a little bit about yourself?
Hey, what's up? My name is Anthony Harter. I reside in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So I'm north of the border. My background is in hard sciences. Actually, I went to school. I thought I wanted to be a scientist. You can only pipette and centrifuge so many things before you get a little bit tired of that. In my opinion, that's just me. And then I was going to switch over into the kines route, but I really did have a passion for teaching. So I ended up getting an education degree with a background in science. That's where what you'll see with StrongerU Fitness is there's a huge educational piece of trying to teach people how to do things on their own and how to kind of monitor their own progress, because that's where you're going to see the greatest success is when someone can do something on their own. So I think that's going to show through, because Dean will tell you also he's an educator. Yeah. It's kind of how we got hooked up. I played moderately high-level hockey. I'm that strength coach that, couldn't make it as a sport and had to figure out how to get stronger and program properly to be better. That's pretty much the tale that everybody tells. And I've been training now for 9 years. I interned before I was 18 at a local place in town that had some really, really good coaches. And now I'm more in the personal training side. I was a strength coach for a couple of years. I was really into training athletes. I really love that one-on-one time with my clients and actually getting to see somebody like multiple times a week and not having to deal with stuff like schools asking me to do what I want to do. And I think that's kind of where this was all bred of. This whole idea of StrongerU Fitness was let's do things the right way and let's do what we want instead of what we've been told that we should do.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Dean?
Mine's pretty easy. I'm actually surprised you got my name right. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I know how to pronounce it. Took a few days or a few weeks.
Well, so he said, my name is Dean Guido, but usually I get called Guido, and I just roll with it just because, like Anthony, I played sports my whole life, so my nickname was Guido. Yeah, so I'm one of the coaches at StrongerU Fitness, and I guess my background is fairly similar to Anthony's in the sense that I went to school to be a teacher. I played football my whole life, so I went to university for football. And in order for me to continue in school, because I actually went to school for it, it's called recreation. I don't know, it's like a phys ed arts degree. But I needed to play longer, so I had to figure out what do I take in school to play longer just because my eligibility kind of went longer to my degree. So I was like, I'll be a teacher. I like teaching things, and I like coaching. So that was kind of my introduction into this whole realm of being a personal trainer. Was I was a teacher first. I was in the classroom. I coached football after my university degree, and essentially I just loved the coaching aspect a lot more than, I guess, teaching in the classroom. And so kind of after about 5 years of teaching, I literally just switched careers. Right. and I became a personal trainer.
I think what's so cool and what we're so big at StrongerU as a brand is like the educational part. Mm-hmm. Everybody can kind of just look at something and go do it, but we like to talk about why we do it, how we do it, the science behind it, and like I don't mean to like for everyone listening, like you guys are the guys for this stuff, and I'm so glad you're running the StrongerU Fitness for our community. I think it's going to be awesome. So far, it's been incredible. People are really learning. They're seeing that it's not just this list of workouts, go do this. It's like you guys are getting so deep into that stuff.
That was one of the one things we talked about when creating this whole thing is that we could do it like everyone else. Like there's like 1,000 programs. There's 1,000 apps. And I think that what's lost on it is that transfer of information from us to the people that are buying these programs. And I think that because we're teachers, we really had that as one of our values. And I think both Anthony and I take our personal training in person like that. Like we don't like people to not know why they're doing stuff because then they end up needing us. And it's cool that they need us, but at the other end of the spectrum is we want them to actually do this for life. And that's not going to include us the whole time. And so kind of with StrongerU Fitness is how do we kind of teach people all the stuff that's in our heads and allow them to actually do this fitness thing for real and not just depend on someone else to do it.
Right. Because I think a lot like the nutrition thing is, which is my kind of hate for fad diets is, they're going to work for a little bit, but what's next? So if you're on StrongerU Fitness for a year, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever, you're going to know a bunch of stuff. And it's because they have access to you guys. They have access to all the videos, the manuals, everything. And I think it is just like StrongerU Nutrition doing things a little bit differently than other people.
Yeah, and it's going to be really cool as it grows because we're just going to have more and more content every single month. And even just with the people that we have in for the first bit here, they're already teaching other people on the forum, like on the Facebook group, which is super awesome. And we've only kind of dug into a couple of the concepts just a little bit. So I imagine in 6 months, we're going to have some people that are very knowledgeable. They're going to know more than a lot of people out there that do this for a living.
That was the one joke. Like there's a lot of stuff in our heads and a lot of information we've kind of sought out and kind of practiced and learned. But how do we take that and put it into a fairly easy package and communicate that to people? And some of the jokes we're having is like, some of the stuff we're telling you, like you're going to know more than some of the trainers at some of your gyms, and nothing against other trainers. It's just like, we're literally we're going to give you like the information. So if you actually dive into it, there's a lot of stuff on there where it's not just the program. And I think that that's what we wanted to portray, especially when starting this. And that's the hardest part of this whole thing is like, how do you tell people that there's a lot more than just a program?
Right. Like a lot of people think you just do this program, you lift weights, you get jacked or you get lean and everything's cool, but there's so much behind it. Can you guys talk a little bit about your training philosophy?
Yeah, for sure. I think that the main point that we're getting across in the first bit here is how important it is to actually have position in certain movements and what the purpose of that position is. And I'm not really sure if our members even know it right now because we're just trying to ease everybody into it. But the importance of your ability to breathe while you're exercising and having certain things lined up. And the major thing that we're getting across right now is the importance of having a pelvis and a rib cage that are stacked properly. Because if those two things are stacked properly and you're exercising within the range that you can control, every exercise you do is a mobility exercise. Like if you have your rib cage stacked over your pelvis and you're doing an overhead press, while you might not be able to press all the way overhead, you're going to find that out really quickly. Especially, we always talk about hamstrings and abs kind of being the two muscles. If they're on, you kind of know that you're in a relatively good position because you can't feel your hamstrings and abs if you're extended through your lower back or if your shoulder's in a bad position. So immediately right there, you've kind of given yourself some guidelines of where you should be working. And from there, if you work within that good range, like you'll be stronger first and foremost. You're going to hit the muscle the way that you want to, like you're going to feel the targeted muscle a lot more. And then if you're working within that range, your nervous system's really going to get good feedback from that. And you actually increase your range of motion, like set after set, if you stay within those parameters. And that's something really, really hard to teach to most people because they've been told these things over and over again. Like the one thing that I really dislike is this idea of like no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
So people are just blasting through these workouts and like, don't get me wrong, like you can look and feel really awesome until you don't. And it's some people are super resilient and it won't bother them at all. And then you have people, and I've been one of those people, and I know I've had many clients, like you get outside of that range for like 20 reps and now their shoulders are cranky.
Yeah.
And that's not optimal in my opinion, especially for most people, because we're not Olympic athletes. We're not trying to train that last 10% of our genetic potential.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget about the longevity part of this thing. They're just like, well, I just go to the gym, I lift heavy, and I do that a lot, and I'm golden. But if you break down, you're done, man.
Well, and I think that's the story most people tell. I don't know, most people I know, but like growing up in the weight room, I think a lot of my friends, they just kind of do whatever and they lift heavy and they're out. Like they're injured more. Like it's funny because I'm injured more than I'm actually healthy, but it's because I do stupid stuff and I'm training for performance. But it's that idea that we kind of learned a lot of stuff the wrong way. And that's kind of how we interjected that into our program, is how do we take all the stuff that we learned not to do and kind of put that in a package? Because I think that what not to do is sometimes the common knowledge piece of it. Like people think that they have to like go to failure every set and they have to just bust their ass in the gym. And it's just not true to get results anyways.
Well, you still have to work really hard, because you don't have to work to the point where like you're puking and your joints are cranky and like you can't walk the next day. If you can't walk the next day, your body's telling you that you did something so traumatic you need to lay down.
Actually, the cool thing is though, like our programs look pretty simple on paper, and like the biggest feedback we've been getting is like, I looked at it, it's gonna be super easy. and then it's not, because it isn't. We didn't make like a cookie cutter easy thing, but like some of the things that we say like are the simple things, and they're super hard.
And it's because you guys do focus on the positioning and the tempo and the rest times and things like that. Some programs are just like, hey, go lift for 10 reps, go do it, and they don't really talk about that other stuff, and then they don't really get the most out of it.
Well, and if you watch the videos, like Anthony talked about, one of our main philosophies is position, and we kind of teach that through videos. So that's another thing with the program, is that we have all these videos, and they're getting better as they go because we got better programming software. But there's arrows and highlights and muscles and rib cages moving, and we're trying to give a visual picture of where things should be, so that if you do that in the gym, now your squat, if done like this, will feel like a squat's supposed to feel like, and then now it's not easy. Now I'm feeling things that are hard. And I think
this is why, like, again, man, I love you guys, because you put these videos out that are so like detailed with the arrows and the narration and the video and the editing. And this is why, for all our members listening, this is why we didn't do StrongerU Fitness 2 years, 3 years ago, because we weren't ready. We weren't the people to build those things out. So that's my thank you to you guys for being.
We weren't even ready when we did it. Like if we think about how we met and did all this stuff, is like we met at the Kansas City Fitness Summit. We emailed back and forth, and then we just got on a meeting. We're like, yeah, let's just talk. Like we want to do something. And you're like, hey, do you want to do fitness? And we're like, yeah, it'll be like 2 months. We'll do some videos, and like it's going to be out. And we got all these big ideas. And it was like, I want to say it was like 6 months later. Like maybe even longer.
To get it going. And it's funny because like when you're starting businesses and you're trying to like do something, even make changes to an existing business, everything is slower than you want it to be. There's so many things involved, especially at our size now. Every decision affects thousands of people. So we have to be super precise about everything.
And it took long. Like I think we spent like 100 hours on, like probably more than that, because there's like over 120 videos when we rolled out. And like the first little bit, even learning how to use the programs, and like it was so hard. But then like how do we? Sorry.
When I said, "Hey, can you just like make a video, like a little promo video?" and like 3 minutes later, you have this awesome little video. And I was like, wow.
Well, now we're good at it.
It's taken a lot of people like 3 days.
Well, even little things like, and not to make everyone be like, oh, you should appreciate the hard work we put in, but like we have clickable programs that like we did out of Excel that like are in PDF and they look nice and beautiful, but you can click on them on your phone. And even that process, I won't even make Anthony answer this, but like even changing that, like Anthony spent probably just 100 hours on Excel and PDF so that you could download it off the internet in like 2 seconds. I think we tested it, and then click on it, and then it goes to the YouTube video, which shows you the video. But that whole process, we're like, oh, it's so easy. Like it was a lot harder than we thought.
Yeah. Can you guys talk a little bit about like training versus workouts? I think a lot of people are so caught up on just getting a good workout, but they forget how these things compound and they relate to other days and recovery and sleep and all this stuff, like how deep this stuff can really get.
The number one thing that you need to do as someone going to the gym is you need to be consistent. I think that's the number one thing. And people kind of get stuck in this whole, well, I have to train this specific way to get to these goals. And sometimes, like, if you go in and you just kind of have a workout and you don't necessarily have a plan moving forward, if you got specific goals, you're not going to get there nearly as fast. I think that's the big difference between training and workouts. And it's really hard to be, I guess, consistently working towards a goal if you don't actually have a training program versus like you're just going and working out. So if you're just going and doing a random workout that you found on the internet, that's awesome. Like if you're doing that every single day, you're still going to get results. That's 100% for sure. When you're going through that process, I just don't think that if you're doing that, it's kind of like careless. And if you're not getting results that way, it's a little bit defeating.
Right.
You have a training program, everything's going to be based off what you did the previous week. And with an exercise or a training program, I should say, we're really looking at, okay, how can we get the most bang for your buck if you're going to the gym and you have an hour every single day, and there's a lot of minutia that kind of gets lost. We get super focused on certain things, and in our training programs, we're trying to teach people that, like, hey, a lot of this stuff doesn't really matter. You need to come, show up to the gym and like do these movements, and you're going to get results, but you have to kind of stick to the plan.
Right. It's like when a lot of people have a good day of eating and they're like, well, that's all I need to do. But you need like 2, 3, 4, 5, many weeks, many months, sometimes many years of doing the right thing.
Well, so I think that the difference, if we look at it from we're comparing nutrition to training, I guess it would be the same as like, okay, like today I ate well and I hit these many calories. But we have to look at it as like a weekly thing. Like it's your caloric intake for the week, and you're going to, that's really the number that we're going to hit, because you can modify things within the week to still hit your goal. That's kind of what training in a good training program is going to do. It's going to modify things throughout the week to get what you need for that week. Whereas a workout doesn't necessarily have everything you need. Everyone was really stuck on like bodybuilding splits for the longest time. I know that, you should definitely do like a bodybuilding split if you're a bodybuilder.
Right.
But the thing is pretty much no one is a bodybuilder. Like we have a lot of people that want to look good, but you can get to that end result in so many different ways. Again, it's within a week, right? So if you're worried that you're not hitting a certain muscle a bunch during the week, or you're not crushing it in one day, that's a big thing. Is like everyone's like, well, I don't feel like my biceps got really worked today. It's like, well, if you do biceps, you do 6 to 10 sets or maybe 20 sets a week, depending how you set up your program, but they're spread out over certain days. That's a big misconception. You don't need to be sore. You don't need to hit all your micronutrients in one day in order for you to like hit it for the week. Like you can just hit it over like the entire week.
Right.
And if you're not super, super sore, that means that you're recovering too. And that's something that we've tried to explain to people. It's like, oh, like, you're not completely wrecked today from your workout, but you wanted to, but like, why do you want to feel wrecked? That's the question that you have to ask people.
That's something that I always see, like cruising around the internet. Everyone wants that particular workout to kick the crap out of them without really thinking what it does for the rest of the week and the rest of their results and recovery. If every single workout kicks the crap out of you, that's not the best thing to do.
Well,
some workouts should be a little easier than others.
Well, that was the one difference between nutrition and fitness, was that whole idea of like, with fitness, you can't just go all out, because like you need recovery. So like we have to modulate like intensity, and like all that is in the background of the programs, but like we build that in because those are some things that are different. Like if you smash yourself every day in the gym and you don't recover, like you're not going to get results, because you can't keep adding weight over the week. Because even if you look at tracking, because I think with nutrition we do tracking, is that if you track that over weeks or months, like there should be a progression upwards.
Oh, right.
And if you're going down and down and down and down, like over time, like that's why people are stagnant in the gym. They don't have progression over time, because it's not structured in a way where they can have that progression. And you'll see people in the gym like doing the same thing every year.
Yeah, and that's what I like about these workouts that you guys are putting together, because it has all that stuff in mind. It has recovery and progressions in mind. And I mean, let's be honest, anyone can make a good workout, but to make a good training program takes a lot of knowledge and a lot of effort.
Well, and even just us interacting with the group, because I think that those are the questions that people have, and there is that common sense that we should work hard and we should slam ourselves on the ground. Why is it this way? And like we'll have answers for them, but like usually it's a non-sexy answer that we have to kind of manipulate in a way to say, hey, like this is the right way, just trust us. And I think that's starting to happen now, where new people will come in and other people are chiming in and saying, yeah, just trust the process. Like they're way harder than we thought, and like we're getting better. But that's something where we have to kind of pull people along. And that's, I guess, our biggest barrier, I think, is like convincing people that like simple and like good and knowledge behind the progressions and the volume and the intensity and how that stuff is really simple, but when done right over time will give them the results and the stuff that they want coming in.
I can't remember who said it, but the quote is, there's no such thing as overtraining, there's just under recovery. So, and that goes hand in hand with nutrition too, where if you have someone who's training like 7 days a week, you have to look at your sleep, your nutrition, you have to look at your workout quality. And I think that's something that we're really hitting. If you're doing things when you're in position, like the amount of joint stress you're incurring is way less.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, I want someone to be able to train literally to the point of failure, but like pure muscular failure, not because you got out of position. And that's where you'll see like these crazy, ugly videos of people squatting and like basically getting just crushed by the weight. Not because they failed muscularly. They just lost position. Basically, gravity won because they weren't stacked properly.
Or their knees hurt because they weren't doing it right. And like that's that whole thing is like, oh, I can't squat because my knees hurt. But like you can squat if you actually squat in position. Most of the time, like outside of like surgical stuff. But like when we had our seminar in New York, it was just some people were like, I can't do this, or like I'm doing this and this hurts. And we would just put them in the right place or show them the things that they need to do. And then all of a sudden they were fine. So it's that idea of that's what we're trying to get across.
Yeah. So many people think that they need a big heavy weight to really feel it or really get an effect, when your body really, it doesn't, like a 400-pound squat to you could be like a 200-pound squat to me. The training effect or the stimulus, your body is like, wow, that's heavy. I'm going to adapt to this and grow and recover and everything's cool. It doesn't necessarily need to be a certain weight. It's more about the effect.
Yeah, and like even if you look at us, like we're meatheads and we have people coming to the program like, I don't think this is for me because like I'm not like a crazy fitness person. And that was kind of like, that's another barrier that we had, which is like, that's not what this program is about. Like sometimes if I squat with 25 pounds, that's hard for me. So it's just because we look a certain way or you think it has to be hardcore. We're going to teach you how that's not the way it is. And if you just kind of come up to the system, like we have different exercise selections. So like if someone can't squat, let's say they can't even squat their body weight, we'll just make a modification for that. Like you ask a question in the group and we'll throw up a video or like a recommendation. So it's kind of like everyone can kind of be on the same system.
Right.
And still see progress, even if there's someone that's strong. Like I'm stronger than most of the people in the group, I think. Like I can deadlift like 600 pounds. I'm stronger, but we can do the same program. And we make jokes where Anthony's filming the at-home workout and he's dying. Like when we're filming this thing, like he's literally dying. I don't even want to do the at-home program because it's too hard. I don't want to
literally, guys, not literally.
But like I don't want to do like they're hard.
Yeah, Dean forgot to cut, I think, one, maybe two of the end of the clips on the videos because we were trying to bang them out really fast. And literally at the end of it, I'm like, like as I stand up and walk away, just devastated by doing these bodyweight exercises.
And I mean, they're anyone can do them. The thing is, you just put in the effort that you can put in. And we have 4 programs right now. We have the burn, the build, the power, and then the burn at home. So no matter what your ability is or your life is like in terms of scheduling or equipment availability, like you can do these workouts.
Yeah. I think something that we need to get across to everybody is I can do a workout and someone else who's completely different than me with different goals can do the exact same workout. And we're probably going to have different results. It's going to depend on like, are you in a deficit or a surplus with your calories? Right. If I'm more efficient, so as I get better at doing a workout, I'm going to be able to do more weight more efficiently. So it's going to be equally as hard. I think with fitness, I think people like get really confused with some of this stuff of like when you get better at actually doing the exercises, and that's why like position and technique is so important, everything just gets harder.
Yeah.
Because you can, if you're more efficient, you can do more weight or you can do faster reps. Like it literally just gets harder. Like they think that it's going to get easier, but if you put in a amount of effort, it actually gets harder.
Who was it in the group there? I won't call it names. So there's someone in the group, CrossFit background and still doing CrossFit was like, oh, they're like, we put 20 rep sets just to like kind of switch it up. Like, oh, I do that like every day. And we're like, I just like do it the way we said to do it. And then like there's a message on there like, yeah, I'm wrong. That was so hard.
Right. Because if you're getting better and it's easier, you're not getting the same effect as if you would if it were hard. So you have to increase the weight.
It was done right. Like, I still don't split squat with much weight. Like I still use it because it's hard when you like actually get in position. And I think that's our background in searching out the right stuff is that a lot of stuff isn't out there. And that's hard to tell people. It's like, well, where do I find this stuff? And I'm like, honestly, you got to pay for it because it's not out there. Like if you search up like how to use your hamstring with your pelvis and blah, blah, it's not out there. And so
think about it too. It's like there's always like the selling and marketing component of all this stuff. Like, what sells like a butt kicking workout? It doesn't necessarily mean it's the best, and that's hard for us, even in the nutrition stuff, because we're not selling like quick weight loss. We're selling like real habit change and long-term success.
And that's horrible.
What we're trying to do with the fitness stuff. And we can put out these programs that are just going to make everyone roll around the floor and make them think they're going to get good results. But we'd rather just give people good results.
I think that we just wanted to do it our way. And that'll probably not shoot us in the foot, but we'll just be slower. But I think that we are going to build a community that is doing things our way, and that will be better in the long term. I think for us to even sleep at night.
We can grow the right way. We don't have to mislead anyone and try to trick them into jumping on our programs because they're magical. We think they're great, but we're not going to BS anybody.
Well, and we think it's the other stuff. Like even we joke it around like, oh, it's a program. Like there's like we all have coaches. Like we paid for programs. Like programs are the same price anywhere, and they're free on the internet half the time. But it's the we talk about value add and selling, which we're the worst at. But we have like units in there with like stuff where they can go and learn, and then we have the videos which are like 2 minutes each with all the stuff in it, and then there's coaches interacting in the community. Like there's all these things that we have. And that's where the good stuff comes. Like that's where the longevity and the adherence comes and consistency. Because if there's a community of people you're trying to commit to and you're doing this program, you're more likely to do it long term because you have that resource there and those people to lean on and the coaches to ask questions. Like we have questions all the time that people are like, oh, I'm so happy because like I thought this was a stupid question. But everyone has the same questions, even if they are like, even if we think they're silly, like that's why we're there because we're not going to not answer them. Like we're not going to treat you stupid for asking them.
When the one kid raises his hand to ask a question, you know there's 30 other people in that class that are happy they did that. And they asked. And that's what we try to do, like within the whole StrongerU community on both sides. Just ask questions. Someone will post and they'll be like, I'm sure this might have been asked before. And I'm like, hell yeah, this is asked like 6 times a week. But we love answering it every single time because somebody learns every single time this question is asked.
Well, that goes back to why we connected well was that I can't remember what you said, but it's like if you just treat people well, like, and that seems like so silly, like, oh, you're going to answer questions, but like, no, like people are apprehensive to ask those questions because they've been treated like shit, or because people don't answer them and make them feel stupid. And like, we just did the opposite, which just seems so simple, but it is,
man. It's so funny because I always get questions from like colleagues in the industry, like, how the heck did StrongerU grow? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, we know a lot of stuff. We have good customer service and the crap works. Like, why wouldn't it grow? Why are you having trouble growing? I don't know. It seems pretty simple to me.
Yeah.
So I think of nutrition has to be individualized, but training could be more of like a broader scope with minor adjustments per person. Can you talk about some of the reasons that we think it's good for people to work out in a group setting and not always go for an individualized program?
So they think they want to be big and jacked or lean and fit. It's because of this person doing this exact program when everyone's doing a lot of the same stuff. Like when we talk about what we're informed on in our programs, a lot of people are doing compound movements. They're doing accessory work, and then they're doing a certain reps and sets. A lot of that stuff is standardized at this point. Like, would you agree, Anthony? It's been done almost the same for a long time. It's just a matter of how people sell them.
Yeah, I think that you just got to stick to really simple training principles. So I think that progressive overload, meaning you just need to load the system a little bit more and be consistent with that. And then you're going to see really, really good results. We could get into the science of all that stuff. Essentially, I think it boils down to adherence.
Yeah.
Like adherence, consistency, and progressively trying to push yourself just a little bit more. And then every now and again, adding in some novelty. I think something with the programming that we saw in the first couple of weeks is we actually had a couple people drop out. And they said it was because, well, I don't really like doing the same movement for 4 weeks. And it wasn't even the same movement. There were some minor changes that were done to the movement. Like there was some tempo and all this stuff that was changed. And they didn't want to do that for 4 weeks, which is fine. They wanted a novel stimulus. But how can you ever expect to get better at something so then you can load yourself more? Like just adding more weight technically is novel to your system and is going to get you better.
Right. There's that continuum, like what the best thing in the world is and what you want to do. We have to meet in the middle somewhere. And if you just want to go into the gym and do anything random in the world, you're probably not going to have that great of a result. If you're going to do, or if you have to do the best thing in the world, you're probably not going to get the best result because you're not going to do it. So find that sweet spot, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and novelty of doing different stuff all the time definitely is going to make you sore. So people are still chasing that. We kind of already touched on that people feel that soreness is an indication of success, which it's totally not. It like when you start a new block of training and you have new exercises, like that first week you're going to be sore because it's novel. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean you have to be incredibly sore after every single workout. Like we said, you might just be under recovering. You could be sore because you slept 4 hours last night, not because your workout was good.
Well, and you can add progression, and that's kind of another thing, like in terms of like just programs and basics and what people think they need. All you need is progression, and that can happen via, again, adding another set, adding some more reps the next week. And that can all be within, let's just say, a split squat. You can have 3 sets of 10, and then the next week 4 sets of 10, and then 5 sets of 10, and then the next block per se you could have sets of 8, and then you're having to do more weight. And there is a science to it, but really you have to kind of do the same stuff for a while until you plateau, and then you can change variables. And it's super simple, and it seems super unsexy in terms of like how you program that, but that's how you get results, is like over time being able to track that. And if you're doing different stuff every day, like again, you'll get better because you're in the gym, you're doing something. But it's probably not going to be the most efficient way to get the idea that you have in your head of where you want to be. It's probably not going to be doing random stuff every day or just different stuff every day.
Right. And it's like the carb cycling with the macro tracking. Like some people feel like they're not getting the best results because their carbs aren't 3 different amounts during the week. Mm-hmm. But sometimes that's for a lot of people just a novelty and a psychological trick.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just need to do the same carb every single day and just cruise.
And you know what? Like if switching the different workout every day is going to be what gets you in the gym, because like you have a mind that's running 1,000,000 miles per hour and like you need to do different stuff. Like honestly, that's probably not going to, our program's probably not going to be for you. But if that's what's going to get you in the gym, you know what, by all means, because adherence and consistency is going to trump everything else. Because if you're not going to follow it, like it's not going to get you what you want. And I think that even having, and that's why we all have coaches, is that the pain of like purchasing a program and being accountable to someone else is something that can drive adherence and consistency. And that's another point that I think that gets lost. And like, that's a horrible sales pitch, but it's that idea that you have someone else to be accountable to, and you've offloaded it outside of your brain and off of your stresses onto someone else. And you just have to do. And and that is kind of half the battle with this stuff, is like you can follow anything, but you need to do it.
Right. Yeah. We like to just create that environment that people push themselves to do.
Yeah.
That's really what we have to do.
You have to be safe and comfortable. You got to like own your program, right? Like if you own your program and you think that you're kicking ass while you're doing your program, guess what? You're kicking ass.
Yep.
And that's that whole thing of like, where do you want to be on the spectrum of novelty and like the same consistency stuff? If you get consistent at things, and maybe it's just a mindset thing, and maybe that's what we've gotten across to some of our members, is like, hey, get really good at this exercise, and then you can start lifting weight. Now you feel like you're a badass because, 5 weeks ago, you didn't know what a squat was supposed to be, and now you're goblet squatting 50, 60 pounds and feeling awesome about it. Well, maybe you just want to keep squatting like that. And like our members have asked us like, oh, like I don't particularly like doing this. Can I do this? And we're like, yeah, go ahead. Like we're going to give you the option of doing certain exercises. That's partially why we're there. We have it also set up in the system. So like when you click on an exercise in our bank and you're going to go watch the video, there's alternatives to that exercise if it's not going to work for you.
Right.
For anybody who's working out, you just have to be able to continue on and not feel lost. There's nothing worse than feeling lost going through your workout. And it's going to take you, like, if you're brand new to working out, it's going to take you 2 weeks, 8 weeks to kind of figure out the flow of everything and figure out how to do this. But we're very consistent in our message about how things are done. And that's based off our methodology of like how people should move. And we don't need to get into the science of how we think people move, but pretty much everybody has the same problems.
That's where good programming comes to effect, because the one cool thing about us is we can track progression over time and we have the system to do it. With cardio, a lot of people get stagnant, and it doesn't really drive the weight loss aspect of it as much as muscle does. And that's where we kind of take care of that aspect. And they're almost like a perfect match. You know what I mean? And I can't remember what it was with the cardio, but I think someone was like, oh, I should be able to eat this much because I'm doing this much cardio. And it's like, no, your body regulates that stuff. Well, it doesn't regulate lean. Yeah. And it doesn't regulate lean body mass. Like we can account for that. You can change that variable, but your body tries to do cardio way more efficiently. And it doesn't work with nutrition as well as what we're trying to build.
Really, like if you start and you run 2 miles, the amount of calories you burn the first time you do it versus the 500th time you do it are going to be much, much different.
And not to say cardio is bad. I'm sure Anthony's going to say, oh, don't say cardio is bad, because like there is adaptation there, but like it's going to get stagnant in terms of the weight loss, where you do need lean body mass to help your body pull stuff through the system.
Right. Yeah. Cardio is excellent, but it's interesting how that became the fat loss tool for everyone. It's why I think we have this big obesity issue.
Well, I think it was because it was an easy way to get into fitness,
and it works.
To be like, I'm not going to come out here and tell you that learning how to do a good squat or deadlift or learning how to exercise is easy, because it's not. But that's exactly why you have a program with videos that teach you how to do such things. Because if you have a barrier where you go into the gym and you don't know what you're doing, how do you expect, like, and that's that whole thing. Do you even feel safe in that environment? If you're stressed out in a environment where you're trying to stress your body out to get weight loss, like that's probably not a great combination. So giving people that sense of, I know what I'm doing is so huge. Confidence is everything.
Well, and it should be hard. Like, I think that even if we go to, like, we'll use nutrition for example, but that calories in, calories out thing, your body will regulate a lot of that stuff afterwards. So like, let's say you get really good at cardio, your body's going to down regulate how much it's burning at that point. And then you get stupider and you get more stressed and you stop doing all this movement. And then that plays into the stuff when they go in the gym, because now they're super stressed out and they don't like their environment that they're in. And there's like this huge web. And I think that a lot of that is the stress and the environment. And we're trying to build a better environment and better information so that they can use that with their nutrition on the other end.
It goes hand in hand. It's, you regulate the way you eat to determine the way, your body fat, work out, build some muscle, be healthy, and try to enjoy it. And that's really what the goal is over here.
And like, that seems super woo, but like, you have to enjoy the process, because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it long term. And I think that you guys even have, like, you had surveys, like, people enjoy the process, and that's legitimately, out of everything, adherence and consistency. Like, do you like it? Because those are going to drive adherence and consistency. And if you don't like it, like, that's a problem on our end. Like, we made you not like it because we were horrible.
That's why I like you guys. You're cool people, so you're a big part of what the program is. So if people don't like you, they're not going to be there.
Yeah,
hopefully they like us.
We keep circling back to the same ideas, and that's the foundation of our program. Is like, if you feel good, you're going to want to continue doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. If you're doing exercise and it hurts you and you're in pain, you're not going to want to do it. Like, why would I continue doing this program? Like, I lost 5 pounds this week and I feel like absolute garbage. So you're not creating a good association with what you're doing. And like, Dean told me to kind of touch on this, is like, everybody basically has the same ailments because we're all human beings and we're kind of like built the same.
Right.
And if we get like really deep into like why we do certain things, like if I'm talking to a population out there, I guarantee you anybody who's exercised has had left hip pain on the front side of their hip. If you've been squatting improperly, you're going to have right, like SI, so that's the right side of your lower back pain or QL pain. And it's completely normal. And you don't need a specialized program in order to like fix those things. You just need a program that's designed, and we don't tell our members this because
now they know. Now they know.
Well, yeah, but I'm not even going to tell them why. Like, a lot of times we just don't even tell people why they're doing certain like position drills. And we have like a movement preparation part of our program. And we're basically trying to help give them a better pattern prior to exercising based on normal human movement. And there's like a ton of research to support basically the asymmetries that go along with the human body. And basically the reason that these things start hurting is because we're asymmetrical people, and then we're trying to do symmetrical movements under load that we're not designed to do. Like, we're not actually designed to squat with a barbell on our back.
And that's what I mean. So like, we're informed by all this stuff, and like, how do we make it so that we don't have to tell people that? Because that sounds kind of crazy, but it's not. And that's kind of where our main goal was, and even our philosophy is, how do we make things objective for people? And that's where, like, if you go in the group and you go in the video, it's like hamstring, abs, do these prep drills, and it's nothing crazy, but it is informed by good information that will allow them to do it long term. And that's a really hard task to do on the internet. And I mean, like, we're still learning in regards to how do we do that the best. And that's kind of where, like, we want to do seminars in the future where we can show people, like, because it's way better in person. But like I said, we're doing a really good job doing that. A, with our explanations, and B, with our videos and like our highlights and the muscles and the ribs. And it's just really cool. And I'm really like pumped.
Yeah, I love how in-depth you guys are, man. It's so cool. I think it's so awesome for our members. I'm so glad we're finally able to give our StrongerU Nutrition members some fitness stuff because they need it. It works so well hand in hand.
It's like the best.
And I want to just thank you guys for being on the podcast. Thank you for all the hard work. Thank you for taking care of our people so well. How can people get a hold of you guys if they want to?
A good place is the nutrition group, because our fitness group is private. But other than that, like, our website is StrongerU.fitness. Another way, this is way easier, is you just email us at fitness@strongerufit.com. So again, fitness@strongerufit.com, or just tag Anthony and I. So if you tag Anthony and I in the nutrition group, or and even add us on Facebook, like we're super good at responding, we're going to be able to see that stuff and even give you more information.
Cool. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. StrongerU family, we did it for you. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Everything we do is just to make this thing the best little fitness empire we can. So I appreciate it, guys. This is Mike Dola with StrongerU, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
StrongerU Radio is a broadcast wellness production powered by StrongerUFit.com. Content copyright StrongerU. Executive producer Frank Sardella. Thanks for listening to StrongerU Radio. For more information on the podcast, visit StrongerUPodcast.com.